where Germany is going politically, particularly when you think about where EU is and how Brexit is approaching the continent.
Yes, now, as we know, this year would be a very, very critical time, not only for German politics and also for whole European politics. But of course, it's very special for German politics because, as we know, just like the former President Obama regarded Germany as a last place of protecting so-called Western value. As we know, how could Germany take the shoulder responsibility to create more certainties besides this, as we know, a difficult situation in France or some other European countries. Right. So now this time, I think it's very interesting for SDP, for Christian Democratic Party to get more compromise and then to fight against some far-right wing political force in Germany. So certainly I think that the main task for Chancellor Merkel or for the elected President Steinmeier is to try to get more cooperation between those two parties.
Right.
And of course, there are some competitions between them.
As well. Mr. Cleppe, that's really my question from your judgment. Can the two parties really work together, even in the face of the right wing, the biggest danger facing the country ideologically, but can really the two parties, with their own goals, work together?
They have worked together for the last 5 years now, so I don't see why that would not be possible in the future. Of course, it's not a given that we will see a repeat of the big coalition between Christian Democrats and Social Democrats. Perhaps there may be a majority among the Christian Democrats, the Greens and the Liberals, or some people even discuss the possibility that the Social Democrats would form a government with the Greens and the hard left, the successor party of the former dictatorship legacy of Eastern Germany, Die Linke. So, but that's of course quite unlikely. Right. So the most likely thing is that we will see again a government led by Angela Merkel with a big coalition of Christian Democrats and Social Democrats.
Well, there are different views actually between these two parties. A lot of them are quite sharp different views. Some Eastern European countries, for example, are worried about this vote this time about this president because Steinmeier was soft on Russia. Steinmeier and Merkel also split on Russian sanctions. He said, the president, he said a new order of international relations is now being formed while new relations are developing between Moscow and Washington. Of course, which is difficult to predict. The Russian President Vladimir Putin, on the other hand, was among the first to send congratulations and invited him, the German president, to visit Moscow. So it is a repeat theme, it seems, in German politics as well as to how to deal with and what to do with Russia, just like those in Washington right now.
Yes, exactly. I think now for this, now at this moment, for the fading to Russia to President Putin in Europe, I think the interesting thing is once you don't like somebody, you just label him as people who pro Mr. Putin like that. So I don't think it's fair to describe Mr. Steinmeier just as people who like Mr. Putin or Russia, because I think it's just a natural position for Germany to try to be engaged with Russia. If we look at this geographic position and the historic relations between Germany and Russia, we can find that there is just a natural choice for the foreign policy of Germany to Russia. So I don't think it's just a personal natural for Mr. Steinmeier.
Mr. Cleppe, you understand this. I mean, Germany, on the one hand, being portrayed as so-called the one holding high the banner of the Western values. On the other hand, it is a country benefiting so much from globalization, international trade, and also the establishment of EU and the Eurozone. So can Germany politics, on the one hand, stick to ideologies? On the other hand, being flexible in terms of its trade and policies toward different parts of the world with different kinds of countries, different ideologies. Can the next generation of leader be able to do that? Mr. Cleppe, your judgment here.
The consensus in German politics is still very much that foreign interventions are dangerous and that world peace is key. So Mr. Steinmeier is indeed in favor of diplomacy with Russia, but that's not because he's a friend of Putin or something. That's really because he's genuinely a fan of peace and is generally against all kinds of aggressive neoconservative foreign policy interventions. And the consensus of German politics is very much there, just like it is in favor of free markets and hard money. And it will firmly remain there for the next 20 years, at least I dare to predict.
All right, 20 years, that's what our counterpart from Brussels had to say. Mr. Cui, final words from you. 20 years?
Yes, I think so. But I don't think it's just a short-term choice for German politics or foreign policy. Certainly, we could not change the neighbors in nature, certainly.